All right. Says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know and we will get this started. I am really looking forward to today's race. Probably my favorite slate in quite some time. I might say I like every single driver, but you can make a case for most of these drivers today. But it is going to be a fun one. Many ways you can go, whether it be cash games, tournaments. So really looking forward to it. But before I keep talking, I'll just wait to see if you guys can hear me and we will get this started. Loud and clear, says John B. That's good enough for me. What's up, family man? Good morning, Chris and everyone. Do you think Blaney's going to stay in the top 5 today? Also, with this new car, do you think 4 Dominator builds are preferred over 3 Dominator builds? Thank you. Yeah, what's up, family man? And yeah, I think Blaney can stay within the top 5 today. He's got a very fast car. I know he has a terrible history at Richmond, but we know he's fast at short flats. He was fast at Phoenix. I assume he's going to be fast once again today. I mean, once we saw practicing qualifying, the Vegas odds jumped up for him to be the odds-on favorite to win, tied with Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson. It might have updated since last night, but those are the most recent odds I did look at. And if Blaney can lead a large chunk of laps in stage 1 and just hang within the top 5 today and pick up fast laps, he should be good to go at that price point. What's up, Bull? Let's go. It's race day. Sure is. Sure is. What's up, Andre? Morning to you as well. $1 Million Man Sean's here. What's up? Gonna wear my Ryan Blaney shirt today. Awesome. We need some luck on Ryan Blaney. I should have wore the Blaney shirt. I usually wear him on days where Blaney's gonna be chalk, or I'm playing a lot of him, but I forgot. Nate says, I'm new to using Fantasy Cruncher for NASCAR. Are there any suggestions? So you mainly want to focus on building groups this week, getting your Dominator groups in, making sure you use at least 2. And then you can play around with randomness and other things. But if you have any like specific question on it, because I want to go through the whole theory of it, especially this early. But if you have specific questions for Fantasy Crunch, I'll be happy to answer them. Chase Piat's in the building. What's up, Chase? What is up? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Paper says CP Mafia in the building. Sure is. We need 1 person in the churd contest. Yeah, if you guys are doing... Apparently it's like full now. So the league's working. We have like 200 people in the league. Bull runs it for me. Or Brandon in the chat. So he misspelled my name. It's supposed to be the Chris Pennell contest. He named it the Churd contest. So if you're wondering why that is what it is, that's the reason why. But he made another contest. So if you didn't get into the Churd or Crud, whatever it is, contest, there's another one you can join in. So maybe we'll fill both. That'd be cool. But I think the other one is filled by now. So my man Spread with the dono. Appreciate it. Let's go, Blaney. Yeah. I know we're talking in Discord, worried about the track history, which is certainly a concern. He's not good at Richmond, but I mean, with the new cars and everything, I've been kind of throwing track history out the window. So it'd be awesome if Blaney could get the win today. I'm not sure he's going to win, but for DFS purposes, he's definitely in a really good spot today. Spread says, please like and subscribe. Click on the notification bell for sure. Always does help me out. If you're just not getting here, leaving a like on the stream really helps me out. Maybe we can get over 200 once again. We usually do, but... always got to ask. Natalie says, good morning. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, good luck to you as well, Natalie. Hope you're having a fantastic morning. Let's go, Chris. Race day, says Gilbert. For sure, for sure. Patrick says, let's go. Pump for the race today. Me too. It's going to be a fun one. I love short tracks. I love when we have a ton of laps to complete. And this slate is wide open. I mean, this is probably the worst pricing I've seen from DraftKings ever since playing NASCAR DFS. I've been playing for years. So it's like, it is a very, very soft pricing day. I mean, when you only have 2 guys above $10,000 for a 400 lap race, and we're talking the low 10Ks, and there's some of the best drivers in the field, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. So, yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Same can be said over on Fanduel. I know not as many of you play on Fanduel, but I've been playing over there this year quite a bit, and I mean, you can make a really strong lineup with Kevin Harvick being your worst driver, which is kind of crazy. So. Both sites today, it's basically play whoever you want, really. You can make a case for a lot of these drivers. Hunter says, where's the Blaney shirt? I was going to put it on. I messed up. Chick says, dang, you're handsome. That Don Johnson, though. Oh, you guys. What's up, Daryl? Saw you in the Discord just, I think, about 30 minutes ago, so I'm glad to have you in the stream. Clint says, hit that like button for sure, for sure. What's up, Viral? Andrew says, Chastain or Bell, last man in on FanDuel? That is a very tough question. For me personally, I believe I have more Bell over on Fanduel. Let me check my exposures really quick. So as of right now, I've only run a couple crunches. I don't have my final yet on Fanduel. But as of right now, I am currently getting a little bit more Ross Chastain over on more than Bell on Fanduel. Check their prices again. Yeah, Chastain's 11K, Christopher Bell's 9K, so that's actually a pretty big difference. But on Fanduel, you have been able to leave some salary on the table. But if you have the money for Chastain, I'd try my best to get the Chastain. They're both very similar plays. I know Bell was very fast in practice. I love Bell on DK as a tournament play, but on Fanduel, if you have the money for Chastain, I'll probably get to that. Morning. What's up, Ryan? Nice to have you. What's up, Luis? Greenberg here, ready to win some money. Hey, let's do it. I love this slate today. The thing is, I love so many guys that they're not all going to work out, so I'm sure there's some trap plays I'm liking, but it'll be fun. Bull says, can you explain what church is? I cannot. You can explain it, though. You're the you're the one who made the contest. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a hot topic. At least it's filled now, so at least we can try to fill the regular Chris Pennell contest instead. Johnny says, what drivers are you going to play in most of your lineups? So the guys I'm heaviest on right now, Blaney, Harvick, Truex. That's kind of like the three I've been building around the most. I just love the Blaney price. I love the Harvick price. I love the Truex price. All these guys were fast in practice. You know, Truex is the GOAT at Richmond recently, so it all makes sense to me. The Harvick price is just crazy at $8,000. I know it never feels great playing Harvick, but I mean, he's been solid this year. He was very fast at Phoenix. I thought he was going to dominate at some point. Never got up front, but he was very fast, and 8K is just too cheap. What's up, Aaron? Byron says the pricing today is dumb for sure. I mean, it is very, very dumb. Dustin says top 2 turning plays. I'm in love with Christopher Bell today. And then after that, I mean, do we want to count Harvick as a tournament play? I'm not sure. I'm kind of counting as a cash play today, but I mean, Harvick and Bell, I'm all over. Eric says Fanduel plays. So over on Fanduel, the guys I've been getting the most so far, just when crunching off of my projections, Blaney, Bowman, Larson. Those are the ones popping up the most. And if I'm playing cash games, I'm going to put those 3 in, and I'd build around them. But you can make some really strong lineups. And Blaney's cheap on Fanduel. I believe he's only $9,500. Yeah, $9,500. And even if he loses some spots, I know Dominator points aren't as important over there. You're only getting the 0.1 for the lap led. But, I mean, if you can hang in the top 5 all day, that's just too cheap. He's what, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like the 11th most expensive driver on Fanduel, which, as fast as he looked in practice, I don't think that's deserved. Obi says, hey, happy fun day. Yeah, for sure. It should be a fun day. Looking forward to it. Best play under $6,400. If Haley wasn't doing his passer penalty, I'd say Haley, but I have a lot of Ty Dillon. Bubba Wallace is a little bit more expensive. The finishing position upside might be higher there, but if you can get down to Ty Dillon, maybe upgrade somebody else. I have a lot of Ty today. I think he's got top 20, top 25 upside. Chase says 2 DOMs, 4 PD. Any price picks? Any locks for small field tournaments? 2 DOMs and 4. I'm not really too concerned about PD today. I just want guys that I think can finish strong and get the potential to get fast laps and laps led. So I'm not really like focusing on PD. If I can get a PD guy in, that's fine. Like, I'm not against Austin Dillon. Obviously, I like him a lot. I like Alex Bowman a lot. But I've been finding myself with a lot of 3 DOM lineups. Like, you can easily fit in Blaney, Truex, Larson today. And I don't hate going that route for cash games. And then you can throw in, I mean, even then you could probably fit in Kevin Harvick and then a Ty Dillon at the end. But I'm not going my way for PD. If they fall into my lineup, that's fine. But oh, and what was the other question? Any prize picks? Yeah, so I locked in 3 prize picks last night, and I finally had a decent week on prize picks last week. I did flex play, so the Byron missed by 0.5. I had the Blaney under on laps led. I think he only led 1, so that was nice. And then I had, I forget the other one. What are my prize picks? I guess I can look at my entries. So last week I had, oh, and the Daniel Suarez under 28.5, and he scored 1. But I had Byron over 43.5, and he gets 43, so that sucked. But at least it was a flex play. But for today, I have Ross Chastain over 42.5. I have Harvick over 41.5, and I have Reddick over 39.5. They all just seemed a little bit too low. I'm going to see if they updated, though. So I know Harvick went up 43.5, Chastain's the same, and Reddick's the same. So the only one you're missing out on is Harvick at 43, but even then, I still think that's decent value. Brad says, Blaney going to win today? I would love if Blaney won today. I have a lot of Ryan Blaney, and you guys know I'm a Ryan Blaney fan. Top cash plays today, Blaney, Bowman. Those are the top two. Those are the two guys you're going to want in cash today. And that can be said for really both sites. What's up, Steven? Big Girl says, what's the deal with Haley? So if you guys don't know, he is starting in the very back, which does make him look appealing on paper, but he has to do a pass-through penalty for failing tech 3 times. And that wouldn't be a big deal if it was a big track like Auto Club. Like we've had that with Kurt, I believe it was Kurt Busch at very beginning of the season, and I didn't care. I still played Kurt Busch, but since we're at a short track, talking less than a mile in length, he's going to lose a lap, and there's always a chance where he's just never in the lucky dog spot, and he's going to be stuck a lap down or to the entire, maybe not to the entire race, but it's going to be tough for him because this is not a track I'm really expecting for mass carnage or a bunch of wrecks. So Haley is definitely not as good of a play as he could be if he was just regularly starting in 36. So I'd temper your expectations. I'm currently underweight on him in tournaments. I know it's been rough rostering Stenhouse this year, but he doesn't have to go a lap down and start the race, and he's starting 32nd, and I feel like they got somewhat similar upside by the end of the day, so it's like I'd rather just play Stenhouse. I'd rather play Bubba. It just feels a little bit safer to me. Haley's just seems like an unwarranted risk that I don't want to take, because it could just be a very annoying day for Justin Haley where he's just stuck all day, never in the lucky dog spot. And it's not like if he gets back in the lead lap, he's just going to instantly pass 15 cars anyway. It's possible, sure, but he's definitely dug himself a hole to start the race. What's up, Rowdy Dorito? Always love saying your name. A little late. Big thanks always, brother. Smash that like for sure. Definitely helps me out. I do appreciate it. Mike says, today screams a big wreck. I hope not. I hope there's no big wreck coming today. We shouldn't have one at Richmond. Guess we never know, though. Travis says, do you think the next-gen cars cancel out Truex's track history at all? See, it's a tough call. We're still pretty new in the next-gen car. I still think the guys that are good at short flats, like when I do my projections this week, I don't really ever use recent track history. Like, yes, it's there to look at, and it's nice when a guy's good at that track. It at least makes you somewhat confident. But when I'm building projections, I don't really care too much what they did at Richmond in the past. I'm more so looking at what they've done this season so far in this package, and what they've done at short flat tracks in general since last season, which even then, I hate to use too much of last season's numbers, but Truex has just been very good at the short flat tracks. He's still the odds-on favorite to win in Vegas, and which really was the nicest thing I think from Truex this weekend was that he wasn't bad in practice. Like, if he was bad in practice, I was going to have some concerns, but, 6th in the 5 lap, 4th in the 10 lap, 3rd in the 15, and 5th in the 20. I know not a lot of guys ran a ton of laps, but those were solid enough numbers for a guy that does have good track history, good at short flats. Well, he hasn't been great this year. He's cheap enough, and practice did look solid. So, yeah, just to answer your question a long way, I'm not really a fan of using recent track history, because if I was using recent track history, I wouldn't be playing Blaney. I wouldn't be playing Byron. Both Byron and Blaney, the guys in the front row, kind of suck here. But, the next-gen car definitely has changed things so far this season. Lovely girlfriend Juliana is here. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. Chris says, thoughts on Kurt Busch in cash? He's a fine cash play. Not going on a way to play Kurt Busch today, to be honest. But, if he fits your lineup, go for it. No problem at all. Starting 27th, should be a top 15 contender. And the Toyotas look like they should have some speed this week. Pedro says, Chris, what's up, Pedro? How much money to leave on the table? I'm not planning on leaving a lot of money on the table. Let me pull up the optimizer really quick and see what... I usually do this every week for you guys. See what the average salary rating is used without using any settings or anything. Just want to see what the top 20 lineups are average salary wise. So it looks like average salary used is 49.7, so that's 300 on the table. So yeah, for the most part, I'm using most of my salary. There's just so many good down plays that you can really just kind of load up. Spread drop. Yeah, if you guys are just now getting here and you're not yet in the YouTube contest, or you made 2 on accident, 1 got misspelled, but I think that's full now. So if you want to join the other contest, I believe Spread tweeted it out. and just click that link and you can join. And I guess we'll have 2 contests this week. We'll have 1 next week, I think. But we messed it up a little bit this week, but it's fine. What's up, Mass? What's up, Matt? You're welcome. Soft pricing, how much is too much to leave for GPP? So I'll try to hand build one with you guys really quick. Just trying my best to leave money on the table. So let me pull up this site. Because again, I'm not really trying to leave too much money on the table. But just to put together, let's do a 3-dom build and see what kind of money we can leave on the table without it looking terrible. So we'll throw in Blaney. We'll throw in, I guess, Truex. We'll throw in, I don't know, who should be our 3rd dom here? We could go Harvick. I mean, he's $8,000. It's not like he's priced as a dom, but at that point, you have $7,600 left on the table. If you wanted to throw in Austin Dillon at $7,000, you could throw in Christopher Bell $8,700. You got $7,300 left, and I think that's just kind of like a roster construction a lot of people will go with. Maybe not those specific drivers, but you got the 2 to 3 dom build, and you got your mid-range plays that have upside. And if you played Stenhouse here, he's $6,500. That leaves you $800 on the table. I think that's a fine lineup. So, I mean, if you want to leave close to $1,000, it's not a bad thing. But I'm not going to go overboard and leave like $2K on the table more than likely. Chris says Ty Dillon in cash. Yeah, if I'm playing a cheap driver in cash today, which as of right now I do have Ty Dillon in my cash lineup. I was trying to see if I can go more balanced because I do have 3 doms currently. Trying to fit in Blaney, Truex, and Larson in cash, which does make me have to go down to Ty Dillon, but I feel comfortable with that starting in P30. And Ty Dillon's been getting decent finishes this year, and the practice wasn't bad. P17 in the 1 lap and P22 in the 5 lap. So if I had to go cheap, right now Ty Dillon's my favorite. And they should have some decent ownership too. Is Larson a cash play, asks Clint? I do think he's a cash play today. If you are a believer in the practice speeds, Larson was kind of right up there with Blaney as being, top dog. He was, Blaney was pretty much P1 in everything besides the 30 lap, and Larson was top 5, top 2 in just about everything. He was also first in the 30 lap, so should have a good long run car. Oh, I missed a dono from my man Spread. Will Ross the Boss go back-to-back this weekend? If I had a bet on someone to win, it would not be Ross Chastain. I like him today. I got his over on Price Picks. I just don't think he's going to win again. I think we'll have another new winner. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Blaney in victory lane. Or maybe Martin Truex Jr. finally gets right. But I do think we get a new winner today. I don't think it'll be Ross. I'm not saying Ross can have a good run. I like Ross a lot today. But I just don't think he's going to win. Tim says, lowest driver you feel comfortable with today on DraftKings. Comfortable? Ty Dillon. $5,200. Just think he's too cheap. I mean, I think he should probably be more expensive than Todd Gilliland. Probably up there with close to Bubba Wallace. Do I prefer Elliott over Logano? I do. I have more chase today than Joey Logano. I feel like they're very similar plays. Both very good at short flat tracks. I mean, chasing the Hendrick car, obviously it's hard to bet against that. He's been strong this season. Starting P15, you get 4 extra PD spots, and if price isn't an issue, I mean, Joey's a lot cheaper, so maybe it's easier for you to land on Joey in your lineup. But if it's just a straight up 1v1, I'll take Chase. Let's get it today, Chris, says Dave. I agree. Hopefully you have a good day. Which pair do you prefer today? DraftKings, GPP, Truex and Ty Dillon, or Bowman and Dinger? Ooh, I'll take the Truex route just because, yeah, Bowman's a great play today, and Dinger's got place difference upside, but I don't think either of those guys have Dominator potential. And if you're playing a tournament, you want that 100-point ceiling, and I don't think those guys will offer you that. So getting Martin Truex Jr. in there, and he could score 150 points today if he just came out and absolutely dominated. So I'll go with the Truex route in tournaments. Nate says, hello, who do you like today, Justin Haley or Harrison Burton? Oh boy. Phew, that's a tough question there because I don't really like either. The projections would say Justin Haley. Now, he's obviously at a very big disadvantage to start the race, but if Harrison Burton falls back and Justin Haley can just kind of scratch and claw his way to a top 30, I will take Haley there, but not super high on either. What's up, Bonnie? Thoughts on Kyle Busch today? Kyle Busch is interesting. I know some people in my Discord like Kyle Busch probably more than I do. I don't dislike Kyle. There's just the problem is there's other guys that like around him a lot more. So he's $9,900. I have Larson, I have Elliott, I have a lot of Martin Truex, I have a lot of Ryan Blaney. At some point, someone just has to be lower owned, and Kyle Busch has been that guy for me. The practice times, it wasn't a huge practice session for Kyle Busch. First in the 1 lap, which, I mean, obviously he's going to appeal to people. He was also top 10 in the 5 lap. And, if I like the Toyotas this week, I can't not like Kyle Busch. I mean, if I like JGR, I can't just say, well, I don't like Kyle Busch, though. So I think he's going to be strong. I just prefer Blaney to lead at first, and then I'm kind of hoping Truex can overtake Kyle Busch. He's a fine tournament play. I'm not going to go there in cash games, but, I mean, I'm not anti-Kyle Busch. He's just like, I can't play everybody. I'm just a little bit underweight on him. Eric says, why the sudden love for old man Harvick? Well, it's mainly because of what we saw at Phoenix, where he was just very fast. The practice session was good. He ran a lot of laps, which I think was a good sign from Kevin Harvick. I mean, pretty much top 7, top 5 in just about everything. Looks like he was strong in the long run. And he's $8,000. Like, he was good at short flats last year, didn't really dominate, but I mean, if he could just hang in the top 8 all day and pick up fast laps, he doesn't even have to lead laps to be in the optimal lineup. He's only $8,000. So he can be like a Tyler Reddick was last year, where he's just hanging around the top 10, top 5 all day, picking up fast laps at an 8K price point and getting the optimal lineup. And I mean, I think Kevin Harvick honestly has a chance to dominate in this race, more so as a secondary guy, but I'm really on Kevin Harvick. One of my highest owned drivers today. Elric says, thank you for the content. You're welcome. What do you think of Austin Dillon and McDowell as cheaper plays? I am not really on McDowell today. Just he's not that great at short flat tracks. Practice wasn't anything special. I mean, P34 in the 5 lap. I do like Austin Dillon, though. I know he didn't put up a strong practice session, but he is very good at Richmond. And again, I hate to really rely on track history much, but Austin Dillon overall is just usually always contending for top 15s. Sometimes top 10s, no matter what the track is. Even road courses now, he's contending for top 10s and top 15s. So he's good just about everywhere, starting P25, $7,000. He's just too cheap. I think he's a very solid cash play today. Not really on Michael McDowell, though. I'd much rather play Allmendinger. I'd rather play Stenhouse. It's close between him and Justin Haley, but just not a big fan of McDowell today. Josh says, DK Cash, Stenhouse and Bowman, or Reddick and Allmendinger. I will go with the first option there because I think you're going to want Bowman and Cash today. Rainey says, outside of Blaney, who do you think has the best chance to be a Dominator? So as far as my projections go for projected Dominator points, right now my top 5 is Blaney, Truex, Byron, just because of that track position at the beginning. I got to give him at least a decent chance to lead laps early on. Then I have Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch as like the top Doms today. Now that doesn't mean that's not the order of my favorite plays. It's just as far as my Dominator points go. Best play under $6,400. I think I answered that right. Yeah, I said Ty Dillon. Mike says, morning, Chris. First time using your optimizer. Hoping for the best. Hopefully it works out, Mike. If you have any questions about the settings, make sure you ask me because you got to be using it right. But I think the tutorial's on there. So hopefully that will help you. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Bull says, if anybody is still interested in joining the contest or the YouTube league and contest, please let us know. Yeah, if you're new here, we have a YouTube league. We just made it. So made it last week. I think we have around 200 members now. If you just hit one of the links, somebody in chat will give it to you. Somebody will. But yeah, you hit the link, you can join the contest. We have 2 this week. Kind of by accident, but I believe the other one still has quite a few to fill. My mom's here. Morning, bud. Handsome like his dad. For sure. Go Logano. I think it's a good week for Logano. I haven't been a huge fan of Logano in recent weeks. Well, besides Atlanta because of the super speedway aspect, but I could see Logano doing some damage today for sure. Dustin says, favorite 7K range play in tourneys. So out of the 7K guys, I'll cross off Kurt Busch because it's a tournament question. He's kind of just like, yeah, he has a lot of PD. Makes sense for cash. But Eric Almirola in that 7K range is a guy that really stands out to me. We know he's really good at short flats. Was top 10 in the 5 lap in practice. And I know we have bad taste in our mouths with Eric Almirola since last season, but he's been solid this year. And I mean, he was P12 at Phoenix, and just looking at last year, 6th at Martinsville, 14th at Richmond, 1st at New Hampshire, 4th at Nashville, 6th at Richmond. The guy's just good at short flats, has an average finish inside the top 9, the past 9 races at these, and I mean, he's been good this year. I mean, I like Stuart Haas today. I like Kevin Harvick. I like Chase Briscoe. So I don't think Eric Rumel's a bad play. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him because, in the 7K range, you have Austin Dillon starting in P25 and you have Kurt Busch starting in P27. And a lot of people are going to load up on the AK range, which doesn't really have a bad play. So I can definitely see Eric Almirola getting overlooked, but I would not forget about him in tournaments. Chris says, cash lineup, Larson, Truex, Blaney, Byron, Dillon, and what's a good last guy with 6,600 left. It might be a little bit overkill with Byron in there because then you have 4 Dominators. I would probably remove Byron with Bowman just to get some PD because then you're really heavy on the front. Like, that's fine for tournaments, but if you're playing cash games, you're going to want Bowman in. Like, starting in P28 is a Hendrick car. I mean, good chance he could gain 15, 20 spots today. But just for your specific lineup, you said you had 6,600 left. I would go as Stenhouse there. But again, I'm probably dropping Byron to Bowman. Hunter says, good morning to you too, Jules. Did you get ignored? What's up, Rick? Good morning. Happy race day. Mongo says, is Chase Briscoe a trap? Well, I would say maybe he's a trap if he was chalky today, but I don't think he's going to be that high owned. He's probably going to be the least owned guy in that AK range just because of that P4 starting spot. I know he won at the other short flat track we were at this year in Phoenix, and he actually has somewhat decent odds to win this race, and he has been strong this year. It's just, I wouldn't call him a trap because I don't think the ownership's going to be too high. Like, I believe I have him projected for like 12 to 15% ownership. So I'd hate to call him a trap just because I don't think the ownership's going to be too high. Mongo says, no way Justin Haley doesn't go 2 laps down. Yeah, Justin Haley's definitely he's in a very tough spot to start this race. And yeah, the PD looks good, and I think people will play him because of that, but I'm going to be underweight. I don't want to mess around with that, especially at a short track. This is a large track, sure, I'll play Justin Haley still, but at a short track, I'm just not sure the risk is worth it. Like, if this was like a big name guy, like a Chase Elliott starting P36, I'd say, you know what, I'm willing to roll the dice. Because if he gets back in the lead lap, he can, get back into the top 10, top 5. I just have my worries with Haley. So I got a dono. Appreciate that. Who should I have from Chokehold'em? Who should I have in my FC group for Dominator? How did you decide your Dominator group? At least 2 or exactly 2? Thanks as always, Chris. No problem at all. Sorry, I think I took a long time seeing the dono. But who should I have in my group for Dominator? So it's pretty much the same guys every week for, like, as far as the Dominator group goes. I would throw in Elliott, Larson, Busch. I'm just reading down from prices. Truex, Blaney, Hamlin, Joey, Byron. I would also throw in Kevin Harvick in there at 8K. And then you can, it's personal preference if you want to add in the guys like Bell or Chastain and Briscoe in that Dom group. You can or you can't. I mean, it's kind of up to you. But as far as the setting would go, I would say at least 2. You can make it 2 to 4 if you wanted, but make sure you get at least 2 in your lineups. Don't make it exactly 2 though. And once again, thank you for the dono. Andrew says, Truex, Larson, Chastain, Blaney, Ty Dillon, or Larson, Blaney, Bell, Bowman, and Harvick for single entry. Oh, that looks good in the second one. I really like the Harvick and Bell. Oh, that's on Fanduel? Okay. I was thinking in a DK aspect. Let me think on Fanduel now. So you got Truex, Larson, Chastain, Blaney, Ty. I'm going to go with the second one just because I don't like getting to scrubs as much on Fanduel compared to DraftKings. So I like the other one's upside a little bit more. Yeah, we had a good night on Warzone last night. Me, Jules, Bull, and Hunter. I believe we got a couple dubs. It was a fun time. Appreciate that, Choke. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. Bull says we got to get the Warzone squad back together. Yeah, we got to run some tonight. Got to run some tonight for sure. Last Prophet says, thoughts on Kyle Busch leading laps today? I have him projected for some laps led today. I believe I gave him... Let me pull up the worksheet here. I gave him some of the most laps led today just because of where he's starting. So he is sitting at... I got Blaney as the top Dom, obviously. Then I got Kyle Busch slated for the 4th most laps led today. Decent chunk of fast laps. Like, I don't dislike Kyle Busch or anything. It's just... the way people are fitting in my lineups. Mike says I overslept. No problem at all. You made it here. That's all that matters. Joe says, hey Chris, Mr. Fanduel talk. What would be your core today on Fanduel? Thanks in the morning. Yes, so afternoon now, but you probably said that in the morning. Let's see. Fanduel cash would be... How is it already 12? I feel like I've only been on here for 10 minutes. It's already been a half an hour. Fanduel core for me would be Blaney, Larson, and Bowman. Those are my highest on drivers right now. Natalie says, hear a lot of talk about a Toyota winning this week. What's your thoughts? I think it's probably the week. If it's going to happen, I think it's this. I mean, obviously, I think they'll win at some point this year, but this is the Toyota Owners 400. I mean, if you like a good narrative, I would be surprised if Toyota sucks today. I mean, Busch has speed, obviously. Truex has speed. Hamlin, we'll see if he ever gets it together, but Bell has a lot of speed. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the JGR guys takes it home. Well, says Jules needs to come in and talk about the puppy. Absolutely not. Never ends well. Eric says, Harvick or Bowman in cash? I would go with Bowman there, just safer. And in cash, I don't care about the upside as much. I just want the safe play, and Bowman certainly that. Harvick has a very high ceiling, though, in tournaments. Keith says, thoughts on Kyle Busch? Hopefully I answered that question when I answered the other guy. Good tournament play, not going there in cash, though. Andrew says, good morning, Chris. Thoughts on Justin Haley on FanDuel? Thanks, have a fantastic day. You as well. Justin Haley on FanDuel is a very tough buy for me because on FanDuel, place differential is not as important. We're mainly focused on finishing position potential, and I mean, yeah, laps led gets you a point or two there, 0.1 per laps led. So, I mean, at a 400 lap race, that can add up. It's just nothing huge. But any little point does help on FanDuel. But Justin Haley, obviously, not a guy we're worried about lap led points or anything. It's just, if he gets stuck a lap down, we might see Justin Haley just stuck in P30 all day, which is not going to get the job done on FanDuel. I'm not really a huge fan. On FanDuel, you have Dinger at $6,500. I'd rather go there. Even Custer might be more appealing to me on FanDuel at $6,000. I know he's starting P12, but if he can kind of hold that top 15, top 16, I'd like him over Haley. So I'm not really huge on him on FanDuel or even on DK. He's more appealing on DK, though, just because place differential is worth more. John says, how long are you going down the board? Oh, how low am I going down on the board? As far as significant ownership, it's Ty Dillon. I have 0 Greg Biffle. I don't think I have Haley. I might have 1% JJ Haley, but that's just stragglers that happen to sift their way through at the end. But Ty Dillon's the most. Man says, Chris, every other DFS coach on any sport should adopt your model of a live stream. Most people talk but don't even look at the chat. All you do is answer questions from your followers. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's the most fun way. If I already do a breakdown video, I don't want to do another breakdown video and just ignore the chat. I'm just here to talk to you guys. You guys make the show for me. I'm just here to chill and answer some questions. So this is my favorite way to do it. And I mean, if you want the more in-depth analysis breakdown, you can watch the preview video afterwards. But I'm just here to answer your questions. It's the best way to do it. Slim says, Logano and Bubba. Sorry, I got thrown off from a message. Logano and Bubba or Seabell and Stenhouse for a DK single entry. Oh boy. So I love Christopher Bell today, so I'll go the Christopher Bell route. I also just hate Bubba in general. I just hate playing Bubba. He's not a bad play today. I never have luck doing it. Nothing against him personally. Just for DFS, I have never had luck playing Bubba Wallace. Zach T says, oh, I got a donut from a man DL, I believe. Go Custer cash play, competition caution. No, not a cash play for me today, DL. And as far as the competition caution goes, usually they announce it late in the day. I don't think we're going to have one. I mean, we had a full-on practice with not really no issues. So I just noticed in my tweet, I forgot to put the picture of me drinking water. Shame on me. Anyway, I'm looking up Bob's Twitter, so hold on. I'm hoping we don't have one. Could downgrade Blaney a bit, but let's see. Don't have anyone going to the back yet, I don't believe. Looks like JGR is playing the debut their new pit stop formation today. Watch that go poorly and all our JGR guys die. Now, it looks like Bob's about to do a tweet up, so we might not be getting any information for the next however long those usually take. I have no idea. Yeah, if you guys get news of this competition, caution, let me know. But as of right now, I don't think there's going to be one. Zach T says, still pretty confident in your top 5 as far as like highest owned drivers? Or do you mean from Osimo? I assume you mean from the Osmo video. So who was in the top 5? Austin Dillon, Bell, Chastain, Truex. Who's the other guy? Reddick? Yeah, I like all 5 of those guys still. I like Blaney a lot more than when I knew I was going to like him when I made the video. But yeah, all those 5 guys are very strong plays. Fayman says, think about that though. You're helping change people's lives. I'm trying. That is so big and I can't thank Chris enough for it. Appreciate it, Philly man. David says, Almirola, Blaney, Chastain, Ty, Logano, Truex Jr. So you got the Doms as Truex, Logano, Blaney. You have Chastain mixed in there. Almirola is a good tournament play. Yeah, I think it's a very strong lineup. Rowdy says, 10-3 for one Dominator, fading Truex, playing Blaney. Don't have anyone over Blaney in price. Who do you think? So you got 10-3? I mean, it's a boring answer. I'll just play Larson, though. Since you already got Blaney, you can offset that with no PD to get in the PD guy and Kyle Larson. Hoping Blaney leads, not half the race, but the beginning of the race, and then Larson comes through the field, and then, yeah, I like that. Obi says, thoughts on Busher? Would you roster him on this slate? I don't have much Busher at all. I'm just not a big fan of the RFK cars. I hate Keselowski. I feel like I'm just never going to play Keselowski unless it's a super speedway. And Busher, I mean, you're going to imagine they're going to run somewhat similar. I mean, they weren't terrible in practice, though. 15 in the 5 lap for Busher. Keselowski was 16 in the 5 lap, which I'd rather play Busher than Keselowski. So if you're playing like 5% Keselowski, maybe 10% Busher, but I don't even think I have 10% Busher, but that's just an example. What's up, Jason? Who's your pick to win? Gonna lose a bunch of money today again. Who's your guy? Okay, so if it's not Blaney today, which as much as I want to say Blaney, I mean, you know something stupid's going to happen to him at some point. I want to say JGR guy gets it done, and I feel like this is the week Truex could do it. So I hate to put it on Toyota, but I think Truex can get the job done. Andre says, Bo Dillon's in cash. It's not a bad week for it. I like Austin Dillon, I like Ty Dillon, and they get you the 3-dom approach. Which, I mean, to play Blaney and Truex and Larson together, I'm not saying like you have to do that in cash today, but to play them together, you do have to dip down to Ty Dillon if you want like a Bowman in there too, but it's not a bad looking lineup. Alex says, any Custer, he starts 12th and super cheap. So I'm getting the Custer more so in Fanduel than I am on DK. Just like on DK, I'd rather play Bubba. I'd rather play Ty Dillon over Cole Custer. I think Cole Custer has slim top 15 upsides. I don't think he's a complete fade, but it's just like the guys he's priced around, I think, offer you more upside. But if you're playing on FanDuel, I don't hate Custer because I think the finishing position upside potential is there. Mike says, how much Blaney is too much, and I like Dillon over McDowell, but most of my lineups that use him over McDowell leave 2,000 on the table, which makes me pretty unique, I think. I just woke up thoughts. Yeah, I like Ty Dillon over McDowell too, and there's a big price difference, but yeah, and it leaves money on the table, but it will get you different leaving that much money on. Sorry, I got a notification. What was I talking about? Oh, how much is too much Blaney? So I think Blaney's going to be around 50% owned today. I have around 70. Look, if Blaney sucks today, it's not going to be a fun day for me. I feel like he leads a large chunk of stage 1, and if he does that, just hangs around the top 5 all day and gets some fast laps here and there, it should be enough in the lineup. I think it's going to be similar to what we saw at Phoenix. And if that's going to be the case, I'm going to want a Blaney. Steven says, how do you feel about Austin Cindric today? I have maybe 2 to 3% Austin Cindric. He was good at Daytona, sure. He was good at the road course for a little bit before issues. He wasn't fast in practice. 31 in the 5 lap, was 12th in the 10 lap, but not a ton of guys ran 10 lap time, so we didn't get too much there. I just don't have much faith in Austin Cindric, to be honest. Spread drop in the link. Yeah, if you guys want to join the other DraftKings contest, the other one filled We have 2. It was an accident, but if you want to join, I think it's like, let me see how many people have joined so far. So we got 77 on that one. So if we get 100 plus on the other one, that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, Mickey says, looking to bet on a few in a long shot again this week to win the race. Last week you were so close with Tyler Reddick. Yeah, that was very close. Who do you got this week? So long shots only. Does Christopher Bell count as a long shot? I mean, he's plus 1,200, so I guess it's not like the best long shot, but you're still getting plus 1,000 odds. If Christopher Bell's isn't as big odds as you want, Eric Almirola, not a terrible bet at plus 3,000, just because he's good at short flats. But all the guys I want to say are within like plus 2,000, so it's just not as appealing as you want it. So I would say if you don't want to go with Bell, Eric Almirola's there. Well, last time I looked, he was at plus 3,000, but that might have changed since. Thoughts on Buescher starting second? Buescher's not starting second, unless I got the wrong set of data here, but Buescher's starting 18th for me. Was he second? He was second in the 1 lap in practice, if that's what you meant. I assume that's probably what you're looking at, but he's starting 18th. If he was starting P2, there's no chance I'm playing Buescher. Starting P18, I still don't love him, but I have a little bit. Brian says I'm playing Truex today. Hey, fam, Discord. Yeah, I like Truex a lot today. It's hard not to like him. Dimitri says, what are some good settings and groups? So this week, you'd want a Dominator group. I already listed the Doms, but it's kind of who you'd expect to potentially lead laps in this race. And then set that group up, put it to at least 2. And then you can do like 20% randomness. Depends on the race. Like this year, I've been up on the randomness. Back in the day, I wouldn't even use randomness. I just felt like we kind of have an idea what's going to happen. I mean, obviously things can happen, but I've been using like 20, 30%. If it's a super speedway, I'll go up to like 50% sometimes. I think I used 50% at the road course last week because I wasn't 100% sure what to expect. We didn't get a lot of practice data, but it's kind of like the only things I would use as far as settings go. You could also make a scrub group of like Yaley, McLeod, Ware, Castle if you wanted, and Biffle, and put it to at max 1, or at most 1, I guess. Chris says, Cash, Larson, Truex, Blaney, and Ty Dillon. Go Byron, a 6,600 guy, or Bowman and 7K down guys last 2 win. Yeah, I would go the Bowman route, and 7K would get you Austin Dillon. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Dustin says, Bell, Blaney, Harvick, Byron, Truex, and Ty Dillon in GPP. Yeah, that can work. I mean, you're very heavy on the guys starting inside the top 10, but I mean, I think there can all be good plays, and you have Ty Dillon for some PD. It's fine. It might be a little top heavy, but it can work out for sure with as many laps as we have. And it's a really loaded lineup. Like, it's hard to believe you can fit in Truex, Byron, Harvick, Blaney, and Bell together. I mean, you wouldn't even be surprised if that was like the top 5 at the end of the day. Eric says, Bell or Austin Dillon? Oh, if price isn't an issue, give me Christopher Bell. Braden says, what are your favorite prize picks? So last night I got Harvick moved, but I had Harvick over 41.5, Reddick over 39, and Chastain over 42.5. Andrew says, Fanduel single entry, Truex, Larson, Chastain, Blaney, and Ty Dillon, or Larson, Bowman, Blaney, Bell, and Harvick. So I'm going to tell you right now, that second lineup, Andrew, is the one I have in single entry right now. So I'd go with that one. It's really hard not to like it. Like, when your worst driver is Kevin Harvick, it's just kind of crazy. So that's the one I have currently. Cut the Check says, the optimizer loves Blaney. Very concerning. No, theoretically, Blaney's the best play in the slate today. And we have a 400 lap race. He's starting on the pole. He's good at short flats. He was the fastest car in practice. Obviously put up a good Q speed. I mean, it's hard not to like Blaney. I mean, if he can lead stage 1, he should be optimal, assuming he doesn't just get wrecked at some point or get a penalty. The only question is, whenever they have to go down pit road, is he going to get screwed by his crew? Because that happens often. Now, I do have the pit crew times on the spreadsheet now. Jake says, do you think the power will slide back to the veteran drivers this week? I'm for it because I got a lot of Harvick, I got a lot of Truex. At some point, we're going to see some veterans definitely play out. It could be the week where that happens. I mean, JGR's got some old guys there. Truex, Busch, and Denny Hamlin. And then, obviously, Kevin Harvick looks pretty prime this week as well. Pugsley says, I have no idea what to do for a lineup. Yeah, I mean, it's just so wide open. It's almost like there's so many good plays, it's kind of hard to land on a lineup, you know? It's weird as that sounds. Cody says, can Eric Jones get a front lead laps? I'd want to say no, but I want to rule it out. We saw what happened with Auto Club. Do I think it's likely? No. But I'm not fading the guy. I'm underweight, but I'm not like Xing him out like I normally would in the past if he was starting in 5th last year. I think he's a much better play on Fanduel than he is on DK, though. Scott says NBA sheets updated. I know you're kidding, but I will update it after I get off the live stream. I cannot wait for NBA to be over. I mean, it's been a solid year, but I just hate doing it. Satish says, do you think Corey LaJoy is a good pick today? Yeah, he's fine. He's a very similar play to Ty Dillon. I prefer Ty Dillon, but I mean, really, they're both about the same. LaJoy was P20 in the 5-lap in practice. I feel like they'll finish about similar. Joe says, Larson, Truex, Blaney, Harvick, Austin, Dillon, Burton. Burton, he's a risky play starting in 17th. He was 13th in the 5-lap, which was at least encouraging. He's got decent equipment. Not a huge fan of Burton today, but I think overall it's a good lineup. Albert says, cash game, Blaney, Chastain, Bowman, A. Dillon, Almirola, and Harvick. I would not play Almirola in cash, personally. Overall, it's a solid lineup. I'm personally not going to get to Almirola. Time Talk says, had to start another account to use the optimizer because the other one wouldn't let me update my payment to get to the optimizer. Hope I can cancel the first one. Have to go to my other account again. Yeah, if you just DM me on Patreon, I'll be happy to fix that for you. Brian says, any chance Jones is a Dominator? It's a small chance, but I mean, it's possible. We didn't get a ton of practice data from him, but he was 6th in the 1-lap, 3rd in the 5-lap, and I mean, he surprised us earlier this season. He seems to have a fast car. His odds in Vegas are not bad. I mean, 2,500 compared to the other guys in the price range, like Keselowski's at 7, Cindric's at 5, same with Dillon. Like, the odds are pretty good. Chris says, cash last guy in, Austin Dillon, Buescher, Stenhouse, or Dinger. Others are Larson, Truex, Blank. I would go with Austin Dillon there. What's up, King? Black Native says, been a while since I caught you live. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate you too. Glad to have you here. I remember you being on the other ones. Pugsley says, I had Larson, Byron, Bell, Bowman, Reddick, and Ty for a pre-qualifying lap. I don't know if I should keep it. It looks good. I'm not against it. Truex, Blaney, Hamlin, Reddick, Harvick, Gillen, and tournaments. How do we feel? That's my other lineup. Hamlin's a wild card. I mean, I like the JGR cars. It's just Hamlin's been so bad this year. But if you think the other JGR cars are going to be fast, you have to at least have your eye on Denny Hamlin today. He was 12th in the 5-lap, which is kind of right around where he's starting. I could see Hamlin kind of hanging around 8th place all day, which isn't going to cut it at $9,300. But I'm underweight on him currently. It's not like a full fade scenario. I just having a hard time trusting Hamlin from what we've seen so far this year. I know he was fast in the one race and then he had issues, but it's definitely not been pretty. But I think overall it's a solid lineup. I'm not really high on Gillen though. Starting P22. It's P29 in the 5-lap in practice. I just feel like I'm more comfortable with LaJoy and Ty Dillon than offering more PD upside. Brandon says, or Bull says, oh, I see that Coors Light cup. You got a favorite drink on this? No, this is... I don't know where I got this cup from, but it's in the cupboard. It might have been from somewhere. I think it's because of the Ohio State thing, but yeah, it's water for sure. Papa Cap says, Haley has to serve a pass-through penalty. That he does, which does make him a pretty tough buy today. Kilo says, what metrics do you focus on when comparing filtering lineups, projections, ownership, down percentage, PPA place differential, and how do you weight them? For me, it's about projections and ownership. Like if I'm doing tournaments at 150 max, you want to try to not get duped as much as, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you want good projected lineups, but if you're like getting way too chalky, that can definitely put you at a disadvantage in tournaments. So if you can try to find a nice balance between projection and projected ownership, probably the best way to go about it. Last Prophet says, who finishes higher, Reddick or Harvick? I'm going to say Harvick. Both great plays though, but Harvick's got at least the track position to start with, and he was definitely a lot stronger in practice than Reddick was. Keela says, do you use ownership sum or product? Yeah, I mean, in some cases I'll use the total ownership, although, I mean, I'm fine using some chalky lineups, depending on, like, I want some chalky lineups, but for the most part, if you can cap off your ownership, like, I know in my opto, you can go to the rule settings and you can cap off your total ownership. So if I'm getting a bunch of lineups above, like 180% projected ownership, and I cap it off at 175, you can definitely get different with your lineups, because it's gonna chop off a lot of chalk. I mean, you're still gonna get like Blaney's in your lineup, but as far as like getting like a Larson Bowman combinations, you'll get lower owned maybe like with more Almirolas paired with Blaney compared to just other chalky drivers. Eric says, Harvick or Austin Dillon on Fanduel? I'll go with Kevin Harvick. Bull says, you're gonna stop with all the Bubba slander. I mean, some of it's deserved. David says, Cindric. I am not a fan of Cindric today. See, Austin says, I hate Bubba and it's personal. Bruce says, who are your two favorite drivers today? Ownership considered on Fanduel. Well, I mean, my two ice-on drivers today on Fanduel were Blaney and Larson. I don't care if they're chalk. I just think they're the best plays. Dino says, will there need to be green flags pit stops today? Yeah, we'll see some for sure. Time Talk says, is 29% too much randomness today? No, I think that's fine. I think 20-30% is fine. Luke says, Christopher Bell is the best tournament play on the slate. As of right now, I'm the most overweight on Christopher Bell, so I hope it's going to be the case. Is playing both Dillons okay? Yes, that's totally fine. I love Ty Dillon. I love Austin Dillon today. You are welcome, Obi. Nate says, well, that answered my low ownership question on Brad. I must be really behind in the chat. I feel like I talked about Brad 20 minutes ago. KV says, AK and below, who do you like? Choose anyone. Anyone? Phew. I think projections will be Kurt Busch. Yeah, I got Kurt Busch at 41, Austin Dillon at 39. So, yeah, I go Kurt Busch there. Cody says, hey Chris, who was your biggest sleeper today to have a good race? What's up, Cody? Oh, biggest sleeper. It's hard for me to say who's like a sleeper these days, because I feel like all these mid-range cards are now more live than they used to be in the past. Can we count Amarola as a sleeper? Does that work? I feel like we could call him a sleeper. Jason says, thanks, it's on you, brother. Tricks, it is. You think he's going to get up front? I think there's a good chance for it. I mean, my lineups have a lot of Martin Truex Jr. today. Plus, he's in the auto owner's car. I don't know what it is, but he's always fast in that car. I have no idea why, but that wrap always makes him fast. Dustin says, how about McDowell? I'm really not playing McDowell today. I don't like him with these types of tracks much. Start at P24. He's probably going to finish P25, P27 in that range today. And his odds in Vegas, I mean, they're lower than everybody in this price range. Or, no, they're the worst, I should say. They're way off of Custer. They're worse than Haley, worse than Stenhouse, worse than Dinger, worse than Busher. I don't like it. John says, are you saying you would play Larson over Truex in cash? I mean, it's probably the safer route to go. I'm playing all three, though. Blaney, Larson, and Truex. Right now I am. Stenhouse or the Dinger? I almost want to play the Dinger more than Stenhouse has been not nice to me recently. I'd probably roll with the Dinger, though. Drill says, I'm in taking Elliott and Hamlin. I like Chase today. Maybe not as much as some weeks, but I mean, I'd rather play Larson, but I'm got nothing against Chase today. Good at the short flats. Practice was top 10 in most categories. It wasn't like a superb practice or anything. It definitely doesn't seem like he's got as fast as a car as Kyle Larson does, but I could still get behind some Elliott. One of Cody says, I got both Dillons, Blaney, Truex, Larson, Bowman. Right now, I mean, that's kind of where my main lineup is looking like. John says, anyone going to the back? I have not seen anybody yet. I'm going to refresh Bob's Twitter again. Most recent tweet is about a air hose, so nothing yet, but if you guys see something, please let me know. And make sure you look at the date first. Some people will find something from the week prior and it throws everyone for a loop. Thoughts on Elliott? Very strong play today. I mean, I prefer Kyle Larson. You get some extra added PD, plus he was a lot faster in practice, but I mean, Chase is still a fine play. He's been very strong so far this year. Can I go 5 studs and a dumpster diver driver? Well, let me do a handbill with you. I want to say yes, but I don't know. 5 studs might be pushing it. I know you can do 4. And it really depends on what we're counting as studs. So let's do, see if it's possible. Byron, Logano, Blaney, Truex. There's 4 studs. We got 6,400 left. I'll throw in Ty Dillon just because that's about as cheap as I'd want to get. 7,600. So it looks like you can only max out at 4, and that's if you went with the cheaper DOMs. You can get Eric Jones in, though, with that. Spread says, please take a second and like the vid. Yeah, if you're just not getting here, leaving a like does help me out quite a bit. Do appreciate it. Luke says, who are your Dominators today? So I am building around Blaney, building around Truex, and building around Larson as far as the big name DOMs. But I think guys like Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick can make some noise as leading laps today. Anthony says, love the show, Chris. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Is this finally a Stenhouse day? I have around 15-20% Stenhouse, and I hate every bit of it. I just want to keep removing him. It's like, yeah, he's starting P32, but is he just going to hang around P28 all day? He's cheap at least. It's not like we're paying over $7K for him. So at $6,500, you can stomach it a little easier. JJ Marsh says, Hamlin had a lot of trouble. It seemed in practice yesterday. Would it be good to fade him considering the issues? As far as like all the JGR drivers go, I'm the most underweight on Denny Hamlin. And it's not even really that much because of that. It's just, it's been hard to trust him this year. I like the price. And obviously he's great at Richmond. It's his home track. It's like, I feel gross kind of not playing a lot of him, but I'd rather play Joey. I'd rather play Blaney. I'd rather play Truex. I'd rather play Busch. I'd probably rather play Byron. So it's like, I gotta be low on some of these guys up here. Triple G says, just got in. What I miss? Is groups needed today? You didn't miss too much. Just answering questions. As far as group today, I would just build a Dominator group and then put it to at least 2. Probably the best way to go about it. Yeah, Chase says, yabber dabber. Thoughts on Bowman? Bowman's one of the better plays on the slate today. He tweeted out that he thinks he's got a good long run car, which starting in P28, I hope so. So if that's gonna be the case and he contends for a top 12, you're gonna want him in your lineups $8,500. Also stole a win here last year. Scott says, DK, GPP, Bell or Bowman? I will take Bell. Chase says CP squared. Cody, Dinger or Stenhouse? I will go with Dinger. TD says, good morning. Any thoughts on Landon Castle starting at 23rd? Good morning to you as well, TD. As far as Castle goes, I just, for where he's starting, I can't really get to it. I cannot see him improving his position. I can see him finishing around P28, P30, which won't be a good day for where he's starting. Pat says, what's up? Let's win some money. I hope so. Thanks for all you do. Will your MLB package include an optimizer? It will, only for DK. But Had someone sign up the other day for Fanduel, and there's no Fanduel optimizer, but yeah, the MLB will have the optimizer, which we have only a few days until baseball starts. I'm very excited about that. Very, very excited. Eric says Oat Life. I haven't had my oats in a little bit, but I saw. Yeah, I know you're part of Oat Gang now in the Discord. Sicko says, what drivers are you fading in the top 10? So I'll tell you the ones I'm lowest on. I'm lowest on Eric Jones. Lowest on Briscoe. Somewhat low on Kyle Busch, but even then it's over 15%. So really, I mean, the ones I'm lowest on are Briscoe and Jones. What do I think about Justin Haley? Haley is in a tough spot because he's got to do the pass-through penalty. We're at a short track. He's going to lose a lap. There's a chance he's just never the lucky dog, which is going to suck all day. I mean, I still think he can top 30, but I don't think it's going to be a fun day for Haley. Unless there's some quick yellows. If there's a quick yellows, he'll be fine, but I'm not going to bank on cautions. Best play under Stenhouse? Probably Ty Dillon. It's either Wallace or Dillon. Chase says, what happened to the mason jar days? So I didn't take any of the mason jars with me when I moved. I need to go get them because I always had the mason jar, but I missed the mason jars. Devin says, K. Busch, assuming you mean Kyle, Elliott, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Harvick, and Blaney. Either if it's Kyle Busch or Kurt Busch, I still think it's a good lineup. Kyle Busch might be too overkill in the price, but maybe not. No, actually, I think that it probably is Kyle Busch, but it looks good. Did no mason jars make it to Florida? I don't think any of them made it to Florida. Maybe we have one. I'm not sure, but I do need to get one. Cheers says we need to get back to Blaney shirts and mason jars. The OG days, yes. We'll bring it back. Wes says you should host a season-long DK league next year. Keep up with the points. That'd actually be a good idea. Probably set that up. I know it's too late now, but next year would be a good idea. Jake says, so the chalk is like Wallace, Bowman, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch. I think the highest owned drivers today are going to be, obviously Ryan Blaney, and you're going to have Bowman, Larson, Truex. Those are going to be like the highest owned today. As far as the cheapies, though, yeah, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, they'll carry some ownership. Same with Bubba Wallace. Alan says, hey, Austin Dillon or Chris Buescher, last driver in. I'm going to go with Austin Dillon there. He says, is there anyone that we shouldn't even look at? I mean, I'm not... You mean like what kind of price range are we talking? If it's like mid-range, I'm not really looking at Keselowski. I'm not looking at Cindric. Not really looking at Custer much. Not really looking at McDowell. Not really looking at Gillen. Not playing any of the scrubs. Not too high on Harrison Burton. UK says Kyle Busch or Blaney tournament. You got the grim face there. I'm gonna say Blaney, even though he's gonna be massive chalk. It's just I feel like he's more likely to laps. Jake says PJ McLeod was faster than Cindric in practice. Yeah, practice wasn't too pretty for Austin Cindric, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Cindric was P34 in the 1 lap. BJ McLeod was P33. In the 5 lap, McLeod was P37. Cindric was P31. I mean, it wasn't pretty for Cindric. KB says Kyle Busch, Truex, Bell, Briscoe, Custer, Austin Dillon, DK Turney. Yeah, that'll definitely be a somewhat contrarian lineup, so if it's a tournament, I think that'll work. Bruce says, thoughts, Chase, Truex, Reddick, Harvick, Stenhouse, Austin, Dillon, cash game. If it's a cash game, I would get Bowman and Blaney in. Like, I know, even if they're not your favorite drivers, they're just going to be so high owned in cash, you're going to want them in. So, and in cash games, we're not trying to be like super smart. We're just trying to play the chalk and get past like 50% of the field. And I would find a way to get Blaney and Bowman in. Even if they suck, they'll be so high owned it shouldn't matter. But if they go off and you don't have them, you're going to be dead. Internet Stress says he's also in a Toyota, and the race is called Toyota. Yeah, I mean, that's a good narrative. I mean, I feel like narratives work a lot in NASCAR. We always talk about that in the Discord, but it seems like whenever there's a narrative, it pays off. And we've seen a lot of times where like a Logano or a Blaney will win when it's a Pennell race and they got the Pennell in the car. Ryan says, Harvick, MTJ, Blaney, Larson, and the Dillons. Cash thoughts? So if you're playing cash, I think you're going to want Bowman in. Just the ownership's going to be massive, and I mean, if he does well, you're going to be in a pretty tough spot. Jake says, race is sponsored by Toyota. Do with that what you will. Yeah, I'm with you. I think a Toyota can certainly sneak into victory lane today. What about Bubba this week? He is a fine, cheap PD play. He starts very far in the back. P12 in the 1 lap, P26 in the 5 lap. His numbers at Richmond aren't super impressive. Short flat tracks aren't that great either. 22nd at Phoenix earlier this year. Look at last year's numbers. 25th at Martinsville, 32nd at Richmond, 26th at New Hampshire, 21st at Nashville, 26th at Richmond. Like, yeah, he's starting in the back, but he's probably going to finish pretty close back there. Harvick or Reddick today in tournaments? I'm going to go with Harvick there. Very close, though. Very close. Two like some of my highest owned drivers. Don says, do you have a favorite value play below 6K, or is that a complete waste? No, I like Ty Dillon down there. Ty Dillon, Bubba Wallace. Solid options. Ryan says, Stenhouse a cash option? Yeah, he's a cash option. I don't think he's a must in cash, but you can certainly play him, and I wouldn't fault you for it. Internet Stress says 3 from top 10, 2 from the 20s, and 1 from the bottom. It could work out. What's up, Jim? Daryl says, I don't know why Burton really stands out, but he's been over his current price. I know place differential isn't much, but his price, I can see a good advantage of him. Longshot has 2 top 20s in the last 4 races. Yeah, I mean, each track is going to be very different, though. So I wouldn't solely look at what they've done the past couple races, but I mean, I don't hate Burton, but he's definitely like my least. I like him a little bit more than Gilliland, but as far as the other 5K guys go, I would say I like Ty Dillon the most. Probably then Bubba Wallace, LaJoy, and then Burton, Gilliland, Biffle. Like I don't think Burton's the absolute worst play, but Internet says, who's the most fastest laps data? Do you mean like for what sample size you mean? Like this year, this track, in practice? What do you mean? Pugsley says, is Kyle Busch a sneaky play over the heavy faves and Truex and Blaney? He's certainly a pivot. I'm not anti-Kyle Busch today. He's a pivot for sure. Anthony says, hometown fan. Fort Myers, you're from Fort Myers as well? That's awesome. I am here. And I love it. I've been here for like 5 months now, and definitely a big fan of Fort Myers. Very beautiful. Although today it's cloudy, but. Jim says, hi Chris, NASCAR morning to you. Happy NASCAR morning to you as well, Jim. I have Truex, Blaney, Logano, Reddick, Harvick, and Gillen for value. Thoughts? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Gillen today, but I mean, the rest of the lineup's very solid. I'd probably rather play Ty Dillon, but I mean, that's personal preference. Second, let me look at something. James says oval shaped track. Yeah, it's like a D-shaped oval. It's a short track though, 3/4 of a mile in length. Thoughts on Kyle over Larson for a matchup? I assume you mean Kyle Busch over Kyle Larson. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. What are the odds on it? If you're getting plus odds, I don't mind it. Larson was very fast though in practice. And I mean, it's not like short flat tracks are Kyle Larson's best track type anyway. Alex says Reddick or Almirola. I will go with Reddick. Obi says 5 tums in a scrub. Let's go. Good luck, y'all. Well, if you can make it work, go for it. But I'm not sure we can fit in 5 DOMs. I tried. So I need to up my exposure on McLeod. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't think I have any McLeod today. Aaron says, hey Chris, last in Harvick at 1.45x or Reddick at 1.5x. Is that super draft? I don't know how the scoring works on super draft. Is place differential more important? And like if Dominator points and place differential, like if Dominator points aren't that as important and place differential is weighed heavier, I'd probably rather go with Reddick there. But if Dominator points add up more, I'd go with Harvick. But I'm not sure exactly how price picks or not super draft works. James says Cowbush or Truex and cash. I would go with Truex. Chase says gonna do a 3-max this week instead of single entry. It's a good week for a lot of lineups. I'm having a hard time just landing on one. Bruce says you're up in Fort Myers as well. Lived there for over 20 years. Oh, it's awesome, Bruce. It's awesome down here. I love it. A lot of stuff to do. It's warm every day and usually always nice and sunny. Jeb said he's got the Saudi stream today, don't worry. Yeah, he streams the races in our Discord, and it's usually pretty top tier. OSU says, who you got to win? I think Truex can get it done today. If it's not Blaney, I think it'll be Truex. Thoughts on Elliott? He's like a similar play to Kyle Larson, but Larson has a little bit more place differential, plus he was faster in practice, so I have more Larson in my lineups, but it is hard to bet against Chase Elliott, and the price isn't even that bad at 10-5. He did open up as the odds-on favorite to win this race, too. I mean, practice wasn't insanely great, and he did qualify not that great, so odds did get a little bit worse, but nothing against Chase. My wife was playing NASCAR, ran into a tree. She said it wasn't her fault because she blew the horn. I think we should probably end on that. I did catch up, won on the joke. But I do appreciate everyone stopping by today. Hopefully you all have a fantastic race day. It's a very fun slate, so try to make the most of it. I will see the other guys on Discord afterwards. I will be on the Awesome Live Before Lock show, I believe at 2:30 p.m. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Wish you all the best of luck and have a fantastic race day.